I'm Barb.
And I'm Paul, and this is Travels with B&P.
We are beginning our second trip to Antarctica. Our first trip was in 2015. We were excited then to see wildlife and scenery, and a little concerned about crossing the Drake Passage.
We're visiting in 2024, about a month later than we did the first time, so we expect the penguin chicks to be more mature, more penguin chicks around, and we hope that the seals have finished molting and we'll see more seal activity in the area.
We were excited to see what things might have changed, what new animals we might see, and what experiences we might have. We knew we were going to have different zodiac landing spots, but we didn't know what Mother Nature had in store for us.
It's a place where we always said we wanted to return.
The Drake Passage is a body of water between South America's Cape Horn, Chile, Argentina, and the South Shetland Islands of Antarctica. Because the ocean flows completely around Antarctica, it is a notoriously rough patch of water to cross.
In 2015, when we crossed, we had calm seas and light winds. It was an excellent passage.
We crossed the Drake Passage in about 18 hours in 2015.
In 2024, crossing the Drake Passage was actually quite difficult. We had up to 50-knot winds and 5 to 6 meter seas.
The captain advised us to secure objects in our cabin, and the outer decks were closed for safety.
Okay, we're on the boarding platform getting ready to head out on the Zodiac's first expedition.
Yes, ready to step on land in Antarctica. Super excited.
See the penguins jumping?
Make sure you clean your boots very well when you get back so we don't carry anything back to the ship, all right?
Yankee Harbor. This is one of the South Shetland Islands. Our first landing, Gentoo penguins. Some seals I saw. So we're going to explore.
Okay, we're back on the ship from our first excursion out to Yankee Harbor.
It was primarily a Gentoo penguin colony, but I did see 2 chin straps.
When we came back, it was quite windy, quite wet, so we got a good soaking, but we're back on board. Everything was fine, and looking forward to our next excursion. Okay.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
I've got you. Oh, you're making a picture of yourself. They will give you information by the shore team, okay?
There we go. We're watching a couple penguins on their way down to the water. Probably going to feed. They don't seem to be too bothered by the people. Penguin headed up the Penguin Highway. The paths through the snow that the penguins take to go from the beach up to their nesting area up on the top of the cliff. Scenic cruising among the icebergs. All right, we just came back from our second trip in the Zodiac ashore on Couverville Island. Saw Gentoo penguin rookery. Lots and lots of penguins, some skuas on the hunt. for neglected chicks or anything else that they might be able to scavenge. Then on the way back, we took a scenic tour of the icebergs. Had a great trip, and now it's time to warm up. It was nice and sunny when we first got here.
Yeah, not much wind. And then wind came up right as we about halfway back to the ship. Of course, I heard them talking on the radio that they were measuring winds to 35 knots. So I'm not terribly surprised when we got into it. Pretty soon we'll be back near the equator and the Amazon.
And we'll be sitting in the shade again.
In shorts and t-shirts. Tough to pack for this sort of travel.
Yep.
Of course, again, we were anticipating weather to improve, but so far, weather has not improved. We will wait another hour to see if conditions do change, and then we will make a decision on changing our itinerary, and we'll let you know with a further announcement. So, ladies and gentlemen, currently, if you're looking out on around 10 o'clock from the vessel, you see a bit of snow in the distance. That is the area of our intense operations for this morning. We do have quite a lot of light. We will not that it is important on this area. We will be waiting another hour. But currently, we are unable to operate our outing as initially planned. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention, and we keep you posted in another hour on the situation with the weather development.
Day 5?
Day 5, Antarctic Experience. And what an experience we are having. Variety of wind conditions and wave conditions. Today, the landing site that they plan to use is clogged with ice, so we can't go ashore. So we are going to do scenic Zodiac cruise among the icebergs. So we're in Zodiac number 3. We seem to be taking on water, and it doesn't seem to be draining out, so we are circling back to the ship. We will transfer to another Zodiac. Beats sinking, or taking the polar plunge. Iggy to the rescue.
Overview, there's glaciers either side. We've seen carvings from both of them. And if they land in deep water, they will create a tsunami, which is something we need to look out for. So let's move in a bit closer.
We had a great Zodiac tour of Brown Bluff. Lots of icebergs, penguins, saw some Wilson petrels that were feeding on a dead penguin that was floating in the water. The first Zodiac we got into, as he ramped up the speed, water started squirting up from the floor. And it was not draining. And the faster he went, the more water came in. We did a Zodiac to Zodiac transfer at sea. Because we had to have that transfer at sea, we got a little bit longer excursion. So all in all, worked out, and we had a great time. Okay. Yeah. Oh,
Other way, other way.
Making good.
A23a is a large tabular iceberg which calved from the Filchner-Rhone ice shelf in 1986. It was grounded or stuck on the seabed for many years, but then started moving in 2020. Its area is about 39,000 square kilometers, 15,000 square miles, which is roughly the same size as Oahu, or more than 2 times the size of Greater London. On January 14, 2024, dramatic archways caused by wave action on A23a were documented by a drone. We saw these archways, and on top of the iceberg we saw some fur seals. Now, how did the fur seals get 100 feet up on that iceberg? That's a mystery, and everybody on board has been asking about it. On November 23rd, A23a was tracked moving past the northern tip of the Antarctic Peninsula headed toward the Southern Ocean.
Okay, we've landed on South Georgia Island, the old abandoned whaling station in Grytviken. It was a challenge getting off the ship. We couldn't use the Zodiacs. They ended up using the tenders.
And we are restricted in where we can go here in Grytviken because of the bird flu. They have a marked path for us to follow, so that's what we'll do. Keeps us away from the cemetery, which is a disappointment for us, as that's where Shackleton's buried, but hey, we're here. We're glad we got ashore today. It was kind of dicey at first, pretty windy. We'll say goodbye to the boss and to Frank Wild. Hope to come back and visit again. Here, to the boss, Sir Ernest Shackleton. Buried right up there. This is where he died in 1922 aboard a ship named the Quest. We are here aboard a ship named the Quest.
When we arrived at Salsbury Plain, we couldn't go ashore due to the avian flu. So we had to settle for Zodiac cruising. Seeing the animals in their natural habitat was spectacular.
Take my advice. Just absorb the scenery. Go photo on a YouTube anytime you like. But this is just incredible. Every time it's different.
There were elephant seals, lots of fur seals, and almost 500,000 king penguins.
We're at Volunteer Point on the Falkland Islands. Quite an interesting ride out here. The road kept getting more narrow and more narrow, more dirt. And finally it was just a kind of a Jeep path. Good thing we had four-wheel drive. Home to 3 different kinds of penguins: Magellanic, Gentoo, and the king penguins. Walked down, took some pictures of king penguins.
We've walked over to the Gentoo colony here at Volunteer Point. A lot of penguins just hanging out, molting. A lot of them are molting. Tim, the guide, was kind enough to take us find a local beer. So we had a couple of local beers. The tender with about 5 minutes. Okay, we've landed here at New Island in the Falklands. We're going to walk across the island.
So here we are on top of the ridge on New Island. This is a albatross rookery, and there are also some rockhopper penguins and some Arctic terns and cormorants. Thousands of birds here. I can't imagine how many there really are, but some chicks, some still shedding their downy feathers. Black-browed albatross, rockhopper penguins.